This is Kevin Brooks with PK Solutions, Lesson 19C, looking at the USDA crop balance sheet as we're looking at prices for this year, as we're running through actually putting together the marketing plan. In this lesson, we will focus on the USDA balance sheet for corn and soybeans. We will also be discussing the current situation of supply and demand for these crops. Below is the link to the full report. And that link is right here. For corn, the current estimate for corn ending stocks for the 2011 corn crop carryover from year to year is estimated at 801 million bushels, below a billion bushels, which is actually quite low. It's the least amount of carryover in recent modern history. And I suggest you follow along with the USDA report right here, which you can bring up on your computer. However, the current estimates for the size of the 2012 crop calls for a return of more normal levels of carryover at 1.881 billion bushels. As a percentage of total crop size compared to the past, this is not as much as historical norms when crop prices were much lower. Yields have come up a long way. So 1.881 billion bushels, in my opinion, is not that big of a deal, but it's obviously a huge improvement or a huge increase over the last year. However, based on my pre-planting data analysis, the amount of carryover for the new crop may be overstated. So when we're looking at what will be carried over for the new crop, I think it's overstated. Production estimates factor in expected weather, expected demand, expected planting dates, and expected acres planted. Corn was planted in good timing, but the weather has not been cooperative. However, some of the highest crop production years in the past have been during times of very dry weather. And I should put a caveat to that in the spring. The weather has been both warm and cool. Hot temperatures have approached and exceeded optimum levels for corn production at times. The USDA, based on expectations earlier, was calling for a return to normal trend yields after last year being lower than normal trend. The 2012 estimate rises from an average of 148.2 bushels in 2011 per acre to a record 166 bushels per acre in 2012. Early planting is conducive to record yields. Moisture is a problem in 2012. Carefully watch weather conditions up to pollination. If dry weather continues after that point, the crop is basically made, but modest impacts can occur if the crop doesn't completely fill kernels due to early harvest from dry weather. And I do want to go back here. It's earlier planting is conducive to record yields. Moisture is a problem. Kevin's outlook, not as pessimistic on price as others, unless weather greatly improves. Now a quick look at soybeans. Again, my purpose is not so much to give you market outlook as to demonstrate how you can decipher information from the reports and come up to some of your own conclusions. Here is the link for the USDA soybean balance sheet. I suggest that you pull it up and look at it as you go through it. The USDA is calculating soybean carryover for 2011 to be somewhat higher than normal. However, ending stocks for 2012, the new crop year, are projected to be on the low side, but not record low in modern times. Yields are expected to be back to trend line following a low, but not record yields last year. This, of course, will be weather dependent. The Corn Belt is very dry, but soybeans were planted in good order. Weather in Iowa, Minnesota, and Illinois will be key to crop size. Any problems with production will be magnified due to predicted lowering of carryover following 2012. The main drive for decreased bushels in supply comes from increasing exports. I am not convinced that exports will continue to be strong due to deteriorating global economic conditions. The shortfall in South American soybeans due to weather will have a positive impact on U.S. prices. This will compound the South American problems with soybean quality consistency. This year's crop will be very weather dependent. Watch for weather conditions in late July and August. Even in 1988, soybeans responded to late rains. Kevin's outlook, cautiously optimistic. This is very weather dependent. Watch for rains or lack thereof. If you have any questions, this is Kevin Brooks, 217-377-3201, or kwbrooks@bksolutionsonline.com. I hope you have a great day. And again, in just rehashing, USDA estimates were based on early on ideas of going back to trendline yields after relatively low supplies for the previous year. However, early planting is one thing, but continued good weather is another to have high yields. So that is the reason why I am somewhat cautiously optimistic. And again, on going back to the previous lesson on corn, I'm not as bearish in terms of the increased acres on corn due to the fact that a lot of those acres will be in areas that are not prime areas, with the exception of Iowa. And then looking at soybeans, the decrease is maybe not as big as what we would think it was because of where those decrease in acres will actually take place. Iowa, of course, is one area, but Illinois is not going to have the big drop due to production problems last year in the continuous corn, so a lot of those people will be switching to soybeans. Anyway, hope you have a great day, as I mentioned, and we'll see you next time. Bye.